join me today or at any point in time that you are watching this video. This is actually going to be my predictions for 2023. This is Soul Chat. Welcome to Soul Chat. And I have been wanting to do a prediction video for a while now. For quite a few years, I get shown what is going to happen. And I never really step up and tell people what I get. And that's one of my lessons is I'm learning to speak a lot more about what I end up being shown. And I'm opening my communications so I get even more downloads, which I'll be sharing more and more with you. So this is going to be my predictions for 2023 video. I am pre-recording this because I have been down with the cold for most of the holidays here. And my voice is still a little scratchy and I'm still a little bit stuffy and I'm not up to 100%. So I thought I would pre-record this to make sure I can get everything in if I need to. But it is Wednesday. It's just about an hour and a half earlier than I should normally do my live. Please like my video, share my video, like my channel, subscribe to my channel. I got lots more coming out. I got big plans for the new year. I did not get anything done over the holidays because most of the time I don't get much done over the holidays because I like to take the time off and be with my family. And yeah, so that's my focus. So no, I didn't get a lot done. I had kind of had intentions of doing more over this holiday because there are a lot of things I have on the burner that I want to get out for the new year. Particularly, I've been talking about a community that I'm putting together, which has a lot more education for you. I'm going to, I'll probably start that. I have to be honest. I don't usually do anything before January 1st. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I do and I don't. I just don't believe in doing them January 1st because I feel like you're setting yourself up to fail. This is not a sprint. It is not a jump out on, New Year's Eve, take your last drink at midnight and then start your resolutions. I think that's a surefire way to fail. It is a marathon. It is about lifestyle. It's not about the crash diet. It's not about the intense exercise program. It's about lifestyle. And there is no other time in history, I think, that it has been, or at least that I can remember, that it has been more obvious that we have to make permanent changes, which are a marathon run. This is the end good. It's a marathon to get to the point where it becomes the new way of life. That's the difference. And where the shifts, and I'm going to talk more about this. So I'll start this video by giving you a little bit of background as to how your body works. So anybody doing New Year's resolutions, good on ya. Recommend you don't start until, a few days after, the hangover's gone or whatever your celebrations and the distractions have been over the holidays. That's my personal. Other people like to use the holidays as a Kickstarter because they're not working. Whatever works for you, do it your way. Just keep in mind that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. All right. Now, what I was going to say is whatever goals you're going after, all right, we think about the new year, we get all excited and we make these plans that are going to be our New Year's resolutions. We're going to quit smoking, we're going to diet, we're going to exercise, we're going to start doing this or doing that, whatever it is, right? And for the first week, maybe two, we get really busy and we're really excited and we dive in there and like everybody knows, the gym memberships all go through the roof, all the diet programs go through the roof in sales, all in the beginning half of January. By the end of the January, nobody's anywhere. Nobody's in the support groups for their diets anymore. Nobody's in the gym. It's like you can't get on the treadmill even for 5 minutes come the 9th of January. But by the time the 27th hits, you pretty much got the place to yourself. All right. And there's a reason for that. And it's not just because we quit, we had great intentions, and then we just are failed or lazy or anything else. It has to do with our ego. And I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the new year with some of my chats and everything I'm going to do. But our ego actually wants to keep us exactly where we are. That's the big thing. It doesn't matter if you're happy. Ego doesn't care if we're happy. Ego doesn't care if anything. The ego only cares about staying with what is familiar. And so, what can happen? I mean, ego's like a part of us. It'll let us have our little bleeps of joy and excitement, which can last for like a week or two. We get really excited over an idea, lots of fun. We get out, we start spinning our wheels and get things moving and everything. Then, about 2 or 3 weeks in, this is why holidays are only 2 weeks long, right? Because about 2 weeks in, our ego goes, okay, that was entertaining. Time to go back to what we know. And your ego steps in and it starts undermining your thoughts. It starts telling you, oh, you've tried so hard and it hasn't worked. Just this one little piece of cake. Or, oh, you don't have to go to the gym today. We could let one day slide. And it starts undermining your thoughts. And then it will sort of, and it'll also look and go, well, your spouse isn't being supportive. He gets angry every time you go. You're taking time out from your family. Your kids are misbehaving when you're gone. None of this stuff is actually happening. Okay. Usually what is happening is that their egos are having issues with the whole adjustment. They're not actually trying to self-sabotage you. Your ego is putting a story to their ego actions. It's really quite funny how we all interact. So it tries to sabotage us. And this can go on for weeks, right? So even if you like, it just keeps pushing you and pushing you and pushing you and trying to find ways of manipulating you. And this all runs sort of in the background where we're not quite aware of what we're doing. And that's why we fail. If you make your plan, so you make your resolution, you've decided what you're going to do, you've put your plan into action, stick with it for 6 weeks to 3 months, preferably 3 months. Because eventually what happens is your ego gets more and more and more aggressive at trying to tear you back down, trying to get you to do what you've always done, right? But eventually it will throw its biggest fit just before it gives in. And it says, okay, she or he is refusing to go back to the familiar. So now we must be bound and determined to make what she's doing work so that it becomes the familiar. And then your ego gets behind you and you get this driving force that moves you forward and you get towards your goals. And usually that happens somewhere around the 6-week marker. Now, the more your ego has won, the better your ego is at taking you down. Okay, and the bigger fight it'll put up. So as you're moving in, I'll be talking more about that and how to deal with your ego and stuff like that in the new year. But keep that in mind. Make the decision of what your plan is and then stick to it. Don't rethink whether or not you're supposed to be doing it. All right, because your ego will try and stop you. So give yourself a plan for at least 3 months and stick to it. That's my short advice. So, as I said, I did say like my channel, follow me, all that, subscribe, wherever the buttons are on the buttons, wherever you're watching this. Anyhow, you know what to do. Did I tell you I was sick? Yeah, okay. I wanted to do predictions and talk a little bit about 2023. So 2023 has been standing out to me for quite a few years now. Even before COVID, there was something about 2023 that's been like this thing hanging over me. And then once we got into the whole COVID thing of 2020, I said, just hang on, just watch as it's happening. Don't get worried. Don't get caught into this. Wait until 24. Wait until 2024 before you really make any big decisions on your life in accordance to the stuff that's been going on and around COVID, the pandemic, and all the wars and all the chaos that we've seen in the last few years. And 2023, I've said spring of 2023 is a pivot point. And the more that as we're heading into 2023, the stronger I really feel that this is our last real big year of complete, pardon me, but shitstorm chaos of like, holy crap, what the frick is going on in the world, okay? After this, so from 24 to 28, what we're going to see is we're going to see the answers. I've been saying all along that we have all the solutions to all of our problems already in the backgrounds, just waiting to go. And the more I look into this, the more I am confident we have got the right politician, the right leadership, the right inventors, the right science projects. We've got the technology, we've got the inventions, we've got all of it sitting there. And all we have to do is all of humanity just needs to go, oh, let's do it. That's it. We just have to shift our focus and do it. But it's taken a lot to get the whole world to wake up. All right. And that's what the last few years has been about. It's about getting everybody to wake up and realize this isn't something recent. Okay. The whole, all the sex trade stuff that's been going on throughout history as long as recorded history knows. Okay. And as it is nothing new. And it has been ramping up horribly in the last 100 years. What else is there? All the mind control, the drug lords, and I don't mean the criminal ones. I mean the ones that we actually have in power that are controlling us. The shadow government, which the shadow government is not exactly the shadow government because they've been telling us right in our face what they're doing, but they've got the media, and they're what the number one word for 2022 is gaslighting. And it is so fitting because our media is gaslighting us constantly. No, food's healthy. They were not putting toxins in our food. No, you're crazy if you think that. No, we're not. Drugs? No, the drug companies, they have their best interest. They're the good guys. They're coming out with the pills and things that save us. Okay. The technology, oh yeah. Oh no, it's going to be good for humanity to be wired in to technology, to have your computer actually operating in your brain, which I don't understand why anybody would want to be integrated with technology. I understand the technology advances of somebody who has got a replacement limb and you get it to match so that it responds like a normal hand. I understand that. But what I don't understand, and this is where it's going, is why I would want to put a chip in my head to make my computer respond to me. Okay. My bank isn't consistent. My computer goes down all the time. My phone screws up all the time. Technology is screwing up all the time. And we're going to plant this in our head. And it's coming. It's coming actually in, they're telling me June-ish. June, you're going to start seeing it more prevalent. And I think by June, they will be doing the implants on the medical side. And then we'll start hearing them talking more about the advances that it's going to be for our internet access and technology advancements. So that I think is in June. So this year is going to be more of revealing that chaos. All right. We need to wake people up more. There's not enough people that are standing up and going enough. Okay. There's still too many people that are falling victim to the gaslighting. They're just falling victim. Once they start to realize, and once there is more light shone onto the truth of situations, then we're going to, that's when we're going to see more transition. But there's still more that needs to come. And so this winter, what I'm seeing, and I think we all know there's the recession. So financially, we're not doing good. It's not a great time for investing in anything. There's still a lot of volatility. There is no there's not even a financially stable system. So that is still going to be a big factor. And I think so up until now, this recession, the food shortages, the supply shortages, all the controversy around it has been a lot more European based and away from it. I think we're going to see it hit home more. We're going to see it particularly in the US. Canada has this funny bubble going, which I think is going to burst, but it's going to burst more on the political front than it is going to on the home front. because I think our societies are a little bit, if you live in the city, you might feel it more. But I think there's enough of our society that lives outside of the cities and lives in connection with nature still that it may not hit us as hard. But I think it's going to hit in the US. And the shock of the truth of the political exposures that's going to hit in the US is going to be really disruptive to the Americans, particularly. And that's going to start hitting home. The war, it's definitely going to be a time of war. Not necessarily. So I think the truth behind the Ukraine and Russia war is going to start coming to, I think more and more people are going to realize that the whole thing is a farce. Yes, there are civilians dying, but the reason that they're dying is not the reason you're being told. Okay, your money is not going to support the civil rights in a good cause. It's actually going to empower it's all going into politics and control issues, and there's a whole much more going on there than what the average person believes. And I think the average person is not going to be able to deny that anymore. I think it's going to become much more truthful. And with that, you're going to get a lot more civil unrest. So Europe may still see a lot of more controversy between the countries, particularly with the amount of immigration blending that's been going on. There's going to be a lot of uprising of that, particularly in the southern parts of Europe is where I'm seeing it. In the northern part, it's actually kind of in the middle. We're going to get a lot of civil unrest. And the same with North America, a lot of civil unrest. Down south, they're kind of even ahead again. They've had more civil unrest and political, there's a lot of political changes going on there. I think we're going to be surprised at the power that rise up out of the South. But I don't think they're going to rise, and we'll see that a little bit more in the summer. But what I am seeing is, again, a lot of civil unrest. It is not, there's going to be two timelines kind of fumbling along right now. There's those that have woken up and seen and realized that we've been gaslit by our government and our media. They've already turned away from the media. They're listening to alternative people. They're listening to me. They're listening to a whole pile of other alternative people that are all talking about what is really going on. They're looking at the alternative sources. They are also looking more at a sustainable life. They're shifting what they eat. They're watching, taking more responsibility for themselves. And that's a big thing is of how we go through this entire awakening process is about being responsible for ourselves. And this is kind of how you can tell where you are on what timeline. The other timeline is going to have a lot more shock and chaos. All right. So there's people that are going to ride through this going, oh, yeah, look, it's almost like we're on our timeline that's kind of peaceful. It's kind of a lot of manifesting going on, a lot of thinking of what we're going to do, a lot of looking forward to what the future is going to hold, but a lot of very peaceful grounding. Will be pulling a little bit more away from society into smaller family groups, friend groups, things like that, more sustainable living, more simplified living, that kind of direction. Okay. Then there's going to be the people that are in chaos and they're in shock at, they just refused to see what was really going on. And those people are going to be forced to see it. They're going to be forced to realize that what started out as a good thing, which is our medical industry with its vaccines and all of that kind of stuff, has actually turned into a power control, corrupted disaster. They're going to see that with our politics. What started out as democracy and freedom for the people has turned into control and power hungry again. Okay. So the people that have been refusing to see that are going to be forced to see that and face it. And it's going to cause chaos and disrupt. And I feel for them because it's not easy. And I'm kind of glad I'm not on that track. But that's what they're going to be. And yes, unfortunately, there are going to be casualties all across both sides. Okay. There are souls that have come here and they have decided their lives. We have to take the acceptance. Well, you don't have to, but I kind of take the acceptance that souls have come to and have chosen how long they're going to live and what the purpose they're going to serve. And there are souls that have come here with the intention of their lives being sacrificed during this transition time in order for the impact. And that's just Unfortunately, the casualties of war, which we really are in a huge war, which is a spiritual war, which is a cosmic war that has been going on for a very, very, very long time. And that's what we're in. Okay, this is a spiritual war, and it's having, very physical effects. So that's this winter. We're going to see food restrictions, supply shortages, financial instability again, a lot of financial collapse, economy collapse, system breakdowns, exposures. There's a whole bunch of lawsuits. There's a whole bunch of reports and everything that are going to be coming out saying what is the truth behind the political moves that have gone on. What is the truth besides the scandals that have been going on? Why is this not being followed through? Why do we have the information on Epstein, right? Like, why? And a lot of that information is going to be coming out. That is going to be the entire year is going to be full of that, but there's a real heaviness through the winter of that. Now, those of us who are on the awakening path and we are aware of this and we've kind of shifted our lives, and this is actually a really strong, everybody right now needs to be aware, this is a really strong period from now until the end of January for manifesting. So really go into calmness, breathe into your heart, be in your body, take responsibility for your life. This is what if there's one theme for 2023, it's taking responsibility, or as some people say, sovereignty. I like to break it down into even simpler language and say, take responsibility for your actions. Be responsible for yourself. Okay? What you say, what you do, how you take care of yourself, sustainable, the whole. It's about being responsible for yourself. Don't advocate to somebody else. Don't blame other people. Don't judge other people. Right? That's sovereignty. That's being responsible for ourselves. And that's the theme of 23 is we have to wake up and do that. So manifesting and tuning into that with that idea, tune into that for the month of January here. And then coming into February, opportunities. You're going to start seeing what I'm talking about in the shifts and everything that are coming for early spring. Now, I've said early spring 2023 is going to be a pivot point. That is the point. And I've said this for quite some time. I'm not an astrologer at all. But I have said early spring of 2023 is the pivot point where we'll still be in chaos. There'll still be a lot going on. But instead of spiraling downwards, it's like we've hit the bottom, and it's just sort of the rest of the year is going to be an unraveling of that bottom. Okay. And now, as when I tapped into the astrology and I started looking into, because I'm not an astrologer, but I started looking into some of the astrology people that I follow and stuff like that, they're all talking about some major event happening in March. Now, we have been hit. 2022 had so many solar flares, which are all upgrading our body. In 23, we don't have as many. So thankfully, that's going to be a little calmer. All right. It's about 23 is about integrating those energies and embodying them and learning how to live with those energy upgrades. It's really what it is. But where was I talking now? What was I saying? It's gone. So anyhow, spring, where it's going to be the pivot point. Things are going to be exposure for the rest of the year. It's going to be sort of unraveling it all. 24 is going to be putting it all, starting to build and create new systems out of the old systems that are going to be more effective towards us. Oh, the astrology event. Yeah, they're all talking about this. This is a major astrology event happening at the end of March, beginning of April, which coincides with exactly how I've been feeling, is that that's the pivot point. So I cannot quite get my handle on what exactly this astrology lineup is, because I don't understand astrology long enough to really get it. But there's an energy shift there. I get that it is like, so if you follow people that believe in that there's going to be this wave of smoke or light or whatever, the great, I can't remember what they call it, but this great light or wave of energy that's going to roll around the world. We're all going to sleep for 2.5 days and wake up in the fifth dimension. A lot of those people are saying that's what's going to happen at the end of March. It's not how I see it, but I leave a little opening for it because it would be convenient if everybody just went to bed and woke up 2.5 days later and hey, we're all in the fifth dimension and everything's love and harmony, right? It's not exactly what I see how it happens, but I leave a little opening for that to be true. But what I do see is that, again, it's that pivot point. It's that point where there's going to be the astrology lineup is going to really, it's like all those downloads that are going to happen, right? That's going to be the final blast. It's going to be those of us who are awake and are getting this and are doing our work and are in that awakened state and starting to live in this new way of living, which is fifth dimensional, embodying the higher, with the fifth dimensional awareness, embodying the higher dimensions and bringing that knowledge into our human existence. Those people aren't going to feel this impact quite as much. We're going to feel it. We're probably going to notice it and go, wow, we're feeling the solar flares, the energy waves that are hitting the earth right now. And we're going to like meditate and really enjoy it, right? And have the upgrades. But those who haven't been tuning into that are going to be slammed. They're going to be in chaos. So I kind of see like the mid-March to the middle of April is going to be, for those of us who are aware, we're kind of going to be looking at the world going, wow, people are really weird right now. Like, wow. Oh, okay. There's going to be a lot of that. So, it's going to be people that have been refusing to wake up are going to be really, that may be the big awakening that causes them to wake up. Because I see after that, it's no longer the questioning of, is this true? It's now going, well, what do we do about it? How do we fix this? And we're going to start unraveling the problems and figure out how can we restructure these systems. We are going to be by the end of this winter, by the time that March comes, we are not going to be able to deny that our medical systems are broken. We're not going to be able to deny that. Okay. So come spring, we're starting to start asking the questions of going, how do we fix this? We can see what's wrong. We don't need to do another study, another analytical report, or hear some politician invest some bogus amount of money that is supposed to go into a medical system to fix it and probably won't. It'll probably line some guy's pocket, and the person that's wanting to get a medical attention won't get any help. We know this is going to happen. Okay. So it's at that point we're going to say, no, that's not good enough anymore. And we're going to start demanding that we find the solutions, we start implementing and really going, how are we going to fix this? And then towards the end of 23, we're going to start seeing the technology roll out. Right? I'm already starting to have this technology arriving on my doorstep. I like, I don't mean metaphysically. I don't mean physically boxes at my doorstep of new medical technology. I don't mean that. I mean, it's coming into my awareness. I'm being shown it. When I'm in meditation and I'm conversing with Arcturians and Pleiadians and the different cosmic energies, I am seeing this technology. I am also seeing reflections of it here on Earth. I'm running across scientific studies that show and scientific studies and technology reports and everything that when you start putting them together, we have the technology. I know it. So I'm starting to see that more and more. By the end of 2023, those solutions, the technology particularly, is going to start to be revealed. And from 24 to 28, oh my gosh, that's when the real transitions and work is going to be done, where things are going to be restructured. So that's the last quarter of 23. So once we get into May, because like I said, March, April, it's gonna be like when we hit in bottom of the chaos. By about May, we're gonna lift a little bit, and there's going to be kind of a breathing space. There's going to be, some of us may be in shell shock at what's been revealed. There may be more protests, civil unrest. I see a lot of civil unrest in May and June, particularly. There's going to, they keep telling me there's going to be a fake alien invasion or alien something happen July. I've heard this in previous years, but I've been like, no, it doesn't. But this year, July 2023, I think maybe August, but I'm thinking July. there's going to be some sort of alien invasion. Actually, I just listened today. The NASA said there's some foreign object attaching itself to the space station. Like, what does that mean? Of course, it was a lot of this information gets buried under endless amount of written words that really don't need to be there. Okay, we have to learn to really, we are, okay, here's my other one. We're in a TikTok world and we need to get out of it. Okay. These short clip videos, the TikToks, the shorts, the reels, and all this kind of stuff, get away from it. All right. Because it's disconnecting you. It is flash, 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 and manipulating your brain and controlling you and drawing you in further and further into control and dark places. Avoid them. All right. If you want to be on social media, then look at the posts. Watch a full YouTube video, not a 10-second clip or a 1-minute clip. Okay. Watch a 5-minute one or at least 3 minutes, right? Because we are losing our attention span. We're losing our cognitive ability. They're taking over our minds, right? This is all part of it. And that is happening. That's a major warfare that's happening. And something you don't hear, at least I never hear in the media, is there's a huge movement in the States, particularly. I haven't heard about it in Canada, but in the States, there's a huge movement, and in other countries around the world, to ban TikTok. There are states, multiple states across that have actually banned the app completely. Right? In all schools, colleges, universities, and any kind of education facility or children related, any space that actually is welcoming to children, it's banned. And that needs to go even further. But the interesting part, and here's go investigate this story if you're not following what's going on. Because part of TikTok's budget is an extraordinarily a large amount of money to pay people to lobby Washington for the freedom of TikTok. Think about that. They make incredible amounts of money. They have way more money than the average citizen could raise. And they are hiring people to lobby against the politicians that are supposed to be on our side. Okay? The professional lobbyists that are going after our politicians to get them to allow TikTok access to our children and us as adults. I mean, so many adults addicted to it too. So anyhow, my rant, I'm going to go back to that. All right. So anyhow, that's kind of my predictions. I could probably go on. So fall, I'm having a hard time. So civil unrest, I see a lot in May, June, July. There's some sort of event, possibly around aliens of some alien contact, alien fake. It's not true, okay? Or at least the information that's being released to us is not going to be the real thing there. It's a fear tactic. There's a big fear tactic that's going to come. There's a big fear blast that's going to come in February. And there's another big fear blast that's going to come in July and September. September, they're going to go after our kids. They're already shadowing it. Okay. They're already gearing up towards it. They're going to target more towards the schools and putting more pressure on separating our kids from their parents and their families and their communities. Our kids are the most vulnerable, and there's going to be a ramped up attack of that in particularly September, right? With the going back to school and everything, it'll happen in September. So be aware of that. Okay. Now, in regards to kids, here's something people don't know about. Don't think about anyhow. Take control of your internet. Okay. So I listen to people when I'm out and they threaten their kids and they say, oh, there's no phone for you. Well, you know what? The kid's going to turn on the computer. Well, there's no computer. No phones, no computer. Then they're going to turn on the TV. They're going to turn on some other device, a tab or whatever. They're going to look at their sister's device, whatever. They're going to find it somewhere. The flat out, no screens. You're off all screens. If it's a screen, it's gone. Okay. So that's one for parents. All right. Two for parents, take control of your Wi-Fi. So my house, my house is actually hardline wired for internet service. I do have Wi-Fi boxes, and they get turned on for particular hours, and then they get turned off. And I can turn the internet off. I can turn the Wi-Fi boxes off, which means they cannot be in their bedrooms or outside or anything else on devices, and I can't see. Okay, they're not sneaking into it. And my kids are getting grown enough, I don't worry about this as much. But and my kids are anti-devices. But when they were younger, this is what we did. And at night, we actually have our entire house wired where we can flick the switch and turn off the internet everywhere except for one TV, which is mom and dad's TV. And it's all hardlined. So we don't have the Wi-Fi in our house and everything. So at night, it's all turned off. Okay. That's part of the installation when you get your internet hooked up. We didn't pay extra for that. We just simply said, you want our business, this is how it has to be done in our house. And they figured out how to do it. It did take them a little bit, but they did figure it out. So those are, take control of this stuff, parents. Be parents, because our kids really need us to be the parent, okay? Yes, we need to listen to our kids, and there is a lot more friendship and a lot more companionship going on with our kids and parents and stuff like that. But we are still the parents, which means we are the leaders, which means that we are the ones that are giving structure to their lives. And so that is going to be even more important come this fall than it's ever been. All right, we are having a battle. This is a spiritual battle. This is it's not just it's not spiritual, metaphysical, off in the other realms. This is in our daily lives between us and the systems, the powers that be. They're trying to take our children from us, trying to take our lives from us, trying to take our own sovereignty from us, our own responsibility for our own lives, our freedoms. It's really honestly happening. Okay. And so take leadership and control of your households, and especially with your kids, even teenagers. Okay. So that's going to be the big part of the fall. And like I said, watch for technology in the fall. That children attack October, it's going to run into October. November, I get a flatness in November, and I don't get anything else when I tap into it. I don't see any visuals. I don't get any stories. I don't get any feelings. I get a flatness, and I'm not sure what that is. And it runs right through to 2024. And it's almost, the best I can say, the sense I get is that it's almost like everybody just sort of stops in shock. Now, I don't know, possibly a media blackout, or simply a calmness that comes over where the truth is out there. We've talked about what to do, but nobody's doing it yet. The calm before implementations, which are coming, the planning sessions, it could be something like that. I don't get an ominous bad feeling about it. I just get this flat line. So not sure what that is all about. Maybe as the year goes on, I'll have a better idea of it. So I'm just going to look at my notes here for a second. The 2 timelines, people who are awakening, be aware of manifesting, big time for manifesting, and all year long. Now, there's one thing I wanted to point out too when it comes to manifesting, is part of manifesting is being grateful. There's an interesting part of grateful. Okay, so the first stage of manifest, when we want to think about what we want to do with our lives and what we want to bring into our lives, stop and have appreciation. Develop an appreciation for everything that's in your life, for your body, for everything you've manifested in your life so far and everything you've experienced. Have deep appreciation to the point that it builds up inside of you so much that you have so much appreciation that you are grateful and want to give back. That is true gratitude, is when we appreciate something so much that we want to give back. And when we move to that stage, now we know we are creating in the light. Okay, we are creating towards the good because we are so, and we're manifesting in a positive, real positive way. So that's kind of a tip on manifesting. Um, Awakening people again, we're going to be drawing a little bit closer to our families and our friends, and we're going to, like, there's some social shifts going on. Still a little bit of that happening. Not a lot, because most of us have done that shift, but there's still going to be some relationship issues. All right. Learning how to ride those relationship issues and have compassion for each other. Remember, we have to have compassion for ourselves, compassion for our relationship, within our relationships, and within our families and within our societies, right? It grows outwards. So a little bit more unsettled with that, but being open to the compassion and working on our relationships to bring us together in unity, because this is about unity, harmony. So look towards your relationships for that. And you're going to see, if you've been on the awakened path, you're going to see a lot of validation. Okay, so as this, if those, for those of the people that are in the other timeline where they haven't woken up and they're going to have a lot more chaos, they're going to see it as chaos and devastation, and they're going to feel this impact of it. Whereas those who are awakened and aware of what's going on are going to be more like, there's the proof. Oh, good. Now there's more people finally seeing it. Okay. And we're going to have that validation. We're going to start. There also needs to, now this is something that needs to come out into awareness out right now, because this vaccine issue that's been going on. So we have the anti-vaxxers or the unvaccinated. We have the vaccinated, and it's always been polarized this way. But there's a third group that's not being recognized right now, and that is the vaccinated awakened. All right. And these are the people that did their part. They, oh my gosh, the world's in a pandemic. Of course, I'm going to take the vaccine and protect everybody. It's part of how we get herd immunity, blah, blah, blah. They okay, I did it. And then they had a reaction, or they became awakened in some way. And now they realize that, ooh, that vaccine, they're not so keen on getting another booster or another shot, or and some of them are just going, there's a lot of controversy, maybe I'll hold off, I've done my one, I'm good, and they hold off. Some are really over on the other side of going, no, they're trying to kill us, and really into the fighting of the fighting the war of it. Okay, and they're now on that unvaccinated side in full force. So there's this gray amount in the middle, and that is good. Okay, that's a good sign. That means more and more people are waking up. And so those of us that are on the unvaccinated, that have seen what's been going on since the beginning and just questioned it right from the beginning, and then I'm going to wait, right? Or whatever it was that, whatever way you went down on that side, open up your hearts and realize that there's a whole lot of people that are just waking up, and let them in and let them, start having some compassion for their awakening process. All right. Because they're now fighting the battle with us. Okay. They're now on our side. So we need to stop this division that's going on. So the big advice to the awakening is to have faith, to trust in this process that we're going through, to have patience as it unfolds, to keep ourselves open to opportunity. Now, this is a big one, because those of us who are awakened are going to have an opportunity or going to have the ability, if we choose, to see opportunities. There's going to be a ton of opportunities, all in the start of opportunity in the footholds of going forward is going to be huge in 2023. A lot of opportunity as to how you can help bring in this new era of humanity. Okay, so keep your eyes open for that. And above all, sit with compassion. Really be in compassion. And the compassion is, and I'll remind everybody again, compassion is when you acknowledge where somebody is on their path of development. So you see their challenges, you see their shadows, you see their fears, and you accept it without judgment. Don't judge them for it, right? We've all had darkness in our past. We've all had fears, right? We don't judge them. They're just in their fear right now. That's okay. They're learning their lesson, right? We don't have to judge that. And we hold the potential that they have everything they need to get over it, to rise above that challenge, to get over that fear, to awaken to the new world, to raise their vibration. We know they are perfectly where they're supposed to be, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you don't help. If they ask for help, you help. But doesn't mean you rescue. Okay, don't rescue people. People need to do their lessons on their own. They ask for help, you can help, but don't rescue them. Right? We're past that point now. All right. So that's compassion, is acknowledging where somebody is without judgment and holding the potential that they can rise above whatever challenges they're facing. All right. So have compassion for people. Now, those of you who are really, really just still in the shit show of what's going on, all right, you're in the chaos. Now, there are the people who are not awake that are going to be hit with the chaos. They've been sitting in denial, and that's going to be smacked right out of them. They're not going to be able to deny anything anymore. It's going to be so blatantly obvious for them. They can't deny it. They're going to be faced with unexplained challenges. So they're walking. Basically, what's happening to them is they're walking through life. Oh, everything's back to normal. I'm just going to buy my trip to this. I'm going to go travel Thailand because that's what I've been planning to do, and I just put it off a year because of COVID. So now we'll do it. Everything's good, and they merrily go along. I'm going to keep my investments. I'm going to keep investing in the stock market because I've always done pretty good, and that's how my RSP grows or whatever, right? My retirement. Oh, don't worry, the government pension plan is always going to be there. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just going to carry on, as if the world hasn't changed. Those people are going to be faced with crazy, unexplained challenges, and it's because their ability to deny what is really happening is going to be pushed and pushed. And the more they deny what's happening, the more challenges they're going to face. Okay. They're the ones that are going to be hung up at the airport, not able to get home, not, caught in a war, whatever, caught in uprising. They're the ones that are going to be caught in the hardest challenges. All right. So those are the high deniers. There's another side of this, and those are the people that have been really heavily dug in to the war. Okay. They have been our freedom fighters. They have been our protesters. They have been our voices that have been yelling at the rooftops, and thank heavens they've been out there doing it. But some of these people we still need to be in protest. We still need to be uprising and speaking in truth and breaking down these systems and calling accountability for everything. But there are a few people who have gotten lost in the war, and they are losing hope. They believe that, some of them believe the world's going to end. And they just are really caught in a horror show is what they are. And those are the people I cry out to you right now. And if you know any of them, it's going to be okay. It really is. Okay? Again, the science is showing it. When we look at the Schumann resonance, when we look at the measurement of the heart coherence around the world, when we look at the archaeological evidence of what's going on, when we look at the psychology of what's going on, when we follow the cycles of history of what's going on, it's all going to be okay. We're just in the chaos. We're in the chaos of evolution. Okay? But we're coming closer to an end. 24, you're going to start seeing progress. And it's going to be, these people have been really caught in a tough battle, and they're weary from it. And so those of the rest of us need to rebuild them up and tell them that they're not alone, that everything is going to be okay. Truth, love, light, it's going to win. We're going to find our way. It's going to be okay. They need that from us now. So if you have anybody that has been on the forefront of the freedom movement since the beginning, please reach out and give them a hug and tell them that they're not alone and that everything's going to be okay. All right, because they need to hear it. They're not the ones that are in the denial. All right, so that's a different thing. And the people that have been in denial and living that chaos timeline, they are going to really feel the food shortages, feel the supply shortages. They're the ones that the rest of us kind of been aware that they're coming and have been preparing for it and have been like, okay, we know what's coming. We're going to navigate this. We're not going to be shocked by it, right? Whereas they're going to be shocked by it and caught off guard. So that's the way it is. Yeah. So, and particularly February is going to be, I think February is going to really be the eye opener for the gaslighting aspect, because there's a lot of information that I think is going to hit in February. And if you do watch regular 6 o'clock news media, it's going to say one thing, and then all the alternative media is real, and not even alternative media, the live feeds from the parliament, right? The live feeds from on the ground reality, they're going to gain a lot of ground and be really undeniable, and the accountability is going to start coming into light. So I think that's February. So anyhow, I'm going to sign off right now. I wish you all a very happy new year. Peace, love, light, joy, compassion. I wish that all for you and for your loved ones. And I hope to see you in the new year. I'm looking forward to all the stuff that's coming, because we're getting to the good point here. We're getting past all the horror, and we're starting to really build in numbers, and the frequency is rising, and like it's we've come a long way, baby. We've come a long way. And I'm glad to see you here with me. And I look forward to seeing you in 2023. Enjoy the new year. Hold your family close. And give your friends a hug. And I love you all.